Hello, everybody. Ella J here on behalf of WrestleZone, and today I am joined by the absolutely amazing Kayla Kassidy. How are you doing today, Kayla?
Good, thank you.
I am so excited to catch up with you. First of all, like we kind of said off air, it's been about 3 years since the last
Uh,
time I spoke with you. Of course, we have an exciting event coming up, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I kind of wanted to start off by talking about some of the changes and the growth that you've had since the last time we spoke in 2020, if that's cool with you.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so the last time we talked, you explained, how wrestling has kind of saved your life and changed your life in a sense. But I know around 2 years ago, that kind of started changing a little bit for you as you kind of started losing your love for wrestling and actually took a step back from it altogether for a few months. I know there were some other reasons obviously factored into that decision, but can you kind of tell us more about that time? What kind of prompted you to take that step back from professional wrestling
Um,
for a bit?
so I think the biggest thing of it, I was surrounding myself with not good people. I was kind of listening to all of the wrong people instead of surrounding myself with good people,
Yeah.
and which I try to do now. So that kind of like affected my mental health like tremendously. And so I was just like, and like I also kind of deal with like really bad anxiety, and I still do. So it's like I was just completely listening to like all of the negativity, and I was letting it get to my head. I was letting myself get in my own head over it. I was just letting like all of the like people saying this and that about me, like false accusations and stuff, really, really take a toll on my mental health. And that was my fault for letting it even happen. But I mean, like I'm not like there, I'm not where I was with it. Like I've gotten a lot better, but at the same time, like I still deal with like that anxiety that comes with it. Cause like sometimes like sometimes I'll struggle even taking a booking just because I get really bad anxiety. It's like I'll go into a locker room and I'll try to do my best, like shaking people's hands and saying hi, and then I'll kind of like go off into my own little corner and
Yeah.
just sit by myself.
I didn't plan on this, but it is Mental Health Awareness Month right now, I believe it is. So I feel like that's huge, especially in a lot of people. I feel like we all have our own things. Kind of before we get more into that period of time, obviously that's kind of a thing that stays with you for a long time, even if you get better with it, but I feel like it's something that always lingers. What do you do to kind of help wind down or kind of cope with that?
So I recently started seeing a therapist. I go back later this month. I've only had like really one good session. I got put on new anxiety medications, but it actually kind of gave me like side effects that started making me sick, like vomit and stuff and
Yeah.
nausea. So we're gonna have to like see if we can get me on something that's a little bit better. Something else that kind of like helps me is I try to remind myself like whenever I have like those bad feelings, I try to just like take a deep breath and just remind myself that like the feelings that I'm feeling are just temporary and that it's just a bad day and not a bad life.
Kind of outside of wrestling, your love has obviously come back, or else you wouldn't have come back in the first place. But outside of wrestling and kind of your personal life, what brings you joy in kind of everyday weekly life?
My nieces, I have two
Yeah.
nieces. They definitely bring me joy.
Yeah, especially keeping family close or friends is definitely
Yeah.
huge because, like you alluded to, a lot of us surround ourselves with toxic people. And I guess in some way, kind of a break kind of helps us realize that. So, kind
Hmm.
of during that time, I remember you made this announcement, I believe it was July of 2021. And I think you came back later that October, if I'm thinking that correctly. So, what did you do during this time away? I know obviously you ended up training to come back, but during that initial month or two, what did you do during your time away?
Honestly, like I was still in such a dark place during that
Yeah.
time away, and I think that when I came back to wrestling, I was not ready for it at all. I feel like I forced myself into it, and that kind of like worsened my mental health. Um, and so then I just kind of like secretly took a break from wrestling again until like I felt like I was actually legitimately ready. And so now it's like I take selective bookings. I don't wrestle every weekend. I
Mhm.
still try to like because I put my mental health first. Like that will
Yeah,
always
as you
come first.
should.
That will always become that will always become before wrestling. Like I sorry, it's just how it is. But like I've just let so much things affect me that whenever I'm feeling like I can kind of like I also kind of deal with like bipolar disorder. So like whenever I have my highs and I have my lows, and whenever I'm feeling my lows, I tend to not take any bookings at all until I pass that, until I like overcome that, until I'm comfortable
Yeah.
doing it again. But so just I'm still trying to figure out how to cope with everything.
Yeah, it's especially with something like that. I have a degree in psych, but it's been a few years, obviously, since I've been into this because I've ingrained in wrestling and everything, kind of like you have. Um, I feel like it's a tricky diagnosis and stuff, but when it comes to you came back, I know you said initially you weren't ready, but then how did you know that you were ready to kind of come back in the full swing of things then?
Um, I think I just really kind of took that time to not think about wrestling that much,
Yeah.
I guess. I just started, working, like just doing things like outside of wrestling and not even really thinking about it. And then it's like one day I was just like, I'm gonna go to training. And then I go to training and I'm like, fuck, I missed this.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Like I said too, when you initially posted that message, because I remember seeing it too. Like I said, you mentioned that you kind of lost, mentally is one thing, but you also lost your love for wrestling in the process, you said. What
Yeah.
kind of sparked or revived your love for wrestling? Or is that something that you're still working towards to get that full love back that you once had for it?
Yeah, I'm still trying to work on getting that full spark back because I feel like it comes and goes, and I feel like that's such a horrible thing to say because there's so many people that I see in wrestling that have such a love for
Yeah.
wrestling, and it's like sometimes I wish that I had that, but it's like the smallest things will kind of make me take that step back, and it's like, no, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And it's just like I hate that I even feel like that. And like wrestling will either make you or break you. And in a lot of ways, it has broken me completely, completely. So it's like, I don't know. It's just like, I'm just like in a weird funk with it. And it's like, it's really sad to me. And it kind of breaks my heart because I fell in love with wrestling when I was about 12 years old
I
and
know.
decided I wanted to be a wrestler when I was 12 years old. But I got into the business and then it's like I had like a really rude awakening. I feel like I didn't know it was going to be like this. Like I think the art of professional wrestling, like being in that ring and getting the reaction from that crowd, I absolutely love it. Like there's seriously nothing like it. But there comes like the politics in
The
wrestling and
drama,
stuff
the
like that,
politics,
the
the
drama.
backstage. Oh yeah.
Yeah, how people will like pretend to, be your face and it turns out they don't even really like you. And it's like they'll try to like bring you down and it's like I don't want to surround myself with that anymore. But at the same time, that's everywhere. That's not just professional wrestling. That is everywhere.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I've gone through certain events have happened the last couple of years that kind of opened my eyes to stuff, the backstage stuff, the politics, the drama, this
Mm-hmm.
the dark stuff in it. And I will admit I've kind of gone through like a little bit of a cycle with stuff, but obviously it's different for you because you're actively in there, you're a performer, you are involved in the ring too as well. But you mentioned something too, you got back to training a little bit and that kind of you're like, "Oh, fuck, I missed this." What about training like just made you feel that, do you think?
So training, I was also like during like my training, I was actually surrounded by really good people that I consider a good friend of mine that really
Yeah.
helped a lot. Um, and just like not taking it too seriously. Like, don't take it too seriously. I mean, take it seriously, but don't like take it too seriously. Like, go in there and just have fun. And so when I was training, I was having fun with the people that I was training with that were willing to help me and stuff like that. So that helped a lot.
Now, I'm curious for you as someone who kind of takes selective bookings. I assuming there'll be maybe not extended periods of time, but like longer periods of time, like maybe weeks between. I don't know your schedule per se, but how do you keep yourself then in shape? Because obviously, you have your own personal life and stuff. How do you keep yourself kind of in shape mentally and physically during the times where maybe the window between bookings is a little bit more extensive?
I try to mentally, like, I feel like I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I 100% don't go to the gym every day. I honestly, I can't tell you the last time I was in the gym. It's probably been like 2 months. I'm gonna be honest with you on
Okay.
that. I'm trying to do better though. I'm trying to
Yeah.
do better. Mentally, I'm still trying to figure that out because I do still have like my really bad days. Like yesterday it was kind of like iffy for me, but I just had to like take that step back and just like realize that like it's just temporary. So my nieces keep me busy. It's like they keep me busy all the time. So I hang out with my best friend as much as I can. And then I have a job that I really love.
Yeah.
So that helps me out as well. So I don't know, just different things.
Now I'm curious, how old are your nieces?
My oldest niece, Charlie, she will be 3 next month. And my youngest niece, Addie, she is 1.
So they'll keep you in shape, or at
Oh
least
my
once
God,
they reach
yes.
like 5, they're going to be running around. They're going to keep you in shape, Kayla.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's funny. But, I don't know if you saw it or felt it, but I feel like, granted, yeah, you've had kind of some time off, but I felt like when you felt that you were ready to come back, I felt like a new Kayla was born. Even just like scrolling through your Instagram feed, to me, you seemed more confident in the ring, at least. Again, maybe off screen is a little bit different. And I feel
Yeah.
like you kind of took on a little bit of a new character in a sense. I know you would like to switch things up every so often, but maybe it's just me.
Mhm.
But how did you feel in the first few months after you felt ready, back character wise and in the ring in general?
So I was actually feeling really, I feel like I was on a roll. Like I like was like, fuck, I'm gonna go to training, I'm gonna get really good, I'm gonna get fucking signed. And then it's just like I had like so like good confidence because I feel like I was doing good mentally.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I was getting better in the ring, and it's just like, and just like that, it's just like I just felt defeated, and it's like that confidence just got sucked right out of me. So it's like, I don't know. Like I try to have confidence is a huge issue with me, honestly. Like I don't feel a lot of times I don't feel like I'm good enough. I feel like I don't belong in the ring a lot of the times, but at the same time, it's like whenever I'm in a very, very, very good mental spot, I feel like I can do anything.
Yeah, and like I said, you might fake it well in the ring, or sometimes wrestling I feel like is different. Sometimes people just have that switch that they turn on, and just because you exude this other character that I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain it. But just from watching, I couldn't even tell. To me, you seem to be like your confidence just seemed to level up. We all have off days, but I could see, at least for me, like a big difference from where, say, 2020, 2021 to this year and last year. To me, I saw a big difference. So that's something to be really, really proud of. And
Mhm.
obviously, mental health is one, confidence is one. You've gotten a little bit more confident. How else do you think that you've grown personally and professionally in the last 2 years during this time?
Um, Honestly, I feel like I feel like I can control my emotions better than I used to be, because like I used to, like 2 years ago, if somebody said something to me on Twitter or said something like anything out of the wrong, I would like fire back at them just like that. Now it's like I'll hit that block button and go on with my day.
As
Like
you
it's
should.
just like, yeah, because I don't have time for it. Like I'm not gonna like let
Yeah.
somebody have that power over me to make me feel like that. Even though, trust me, like it does suck, and I do let it get to me, but like I try to like I'll hit that block button so fucking fast.
Yeah. And like I said, in the ring, I feel like you've reshaped yourself a bit. Obviously, your hair color is one, your gear is one. You've kind of gone through a lot of different changes. How would
Mhm.
you describe Kayla Kassidy, the character, right now?
I would still say that she's very, very egotistic, I guess is the word. I'm always booked as a heel, so that's just like basically my entire persona. Um, I don't know, like I'm still trying to also figure that out.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially during this process, you're still finding your identity and finding that character. What has that process looked like for you? Obviously, there's a lot of ups and downs, but can you kind of tell us more about the journey, the ongoing journey, I should say, to kind of finding your identity as a character?
Um, hmm. let's see. I watched a lot of AJ Lee
Yes.
when I was younger. I absolutely love her. And although like my character is a little bit different than hers, I thought she was the best female heel in WWE, honestly. So I kind of like watched her a lot. I also watched a lot of now Mercedes. I watched a lot of her when she was Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Because I was obsessed with like her presence, her
She's
confidence,
so
her
good.
character. I was obsessed. I thought she was the greatest thing. Like her shit does not stink. Like I was so obsessed. But like I try to like I guess look at her confidence and then try to like gain that confidence myself, I guess. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's still an ongoing process. Like you said, you're still kind of finding yourself. I feel like, especially too, you've been doing this, what, 4 years now, I think, professionally?
I just came up on 4 years, yeah.
Well, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Time flies by so fast, and especially during a pandemic,
Yeah.
to still be doing this, and you have that awareness to take those breaks when needed, which I feel like a lot of people don't do. But like we said, you've grown a lot, especially in the physical presentation as well, your hair, your gear, just the whole look. We talked about character kind of inspirations. Like I said, you've never been shy about experimenting in the presentation department. So I'm curious, what are some of your sources of inspiration when crafting your gear and kind of your overall look?
So I'm always especially doing something to my hair.
Yes.
Always. I feel like I don't like having like my natural hair color is like a darkish brown, but like I I feel better when I have like the fun colors going on
Yeah.
and like the brighter colors going on. Gear wise, I'm always there's this one person that I go to and
Is it Allie Parker?
she does she sews my gear.
Ah,
But I'm
okay.
always there's this one guy. He designs gears and stuff. And he'll like sometimes send me ideas or I'll send him ideas on like what I want to do. So like
Yeah.
we'll like switch it up. Sometimes I'll go with like the darker look. Sometimes I'll have like the flashy look.
Yeah.
And I will be debuting new gear within like the next week. And I'm really excited about
Mm.
it.
Mm. Now, I know in my mind, the gear that sticks out is like I think it's blue and green. You also have that like pink, kind of not galaxy, but like it's a print as well. You've gone through a lot of changes. I'm curious, what has been your kind of favorite gear that you've donned so far and kind of the backstory behind it?
I think honestly, I think my pink gear, like I kind of mix like the pink and black together.
Yes.
Um, I think that was probably like my favorite look. Also, I was a huge fan of Jeff Hardy growing up. Like
I
he was my
know.
favorite, and he kind of like he also wore like pink and black and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I think that kind of where that came from a little bit, but I don't know. I like to switch it up. Like sometimes like I'll just like buy pieces from like different websites
Mhm.
and then just throw that together as my own gear. And then sometimes I'll wear like my professionally made gear. So
I mean, I feel like it blends together kind of a little bit of your childhood, but like with new things. And I admire that because I'm one who's kind of afraid to experiment in like some aspects of my life, but it just
mm,
seems so fun. And it like livens the room.
yeah.
So kudos to you. I don't
Right.
know how, like you said, your bookings are kind of scattered a bit, but even if you're scrolling your timeline, you're seeing a bunch of stuff. So kind of within the wrestling space, who do you maybe it's Mercedes, I don't know, who do you think has the best ring gear game or aesthetic today?
Like right now,
Yes.
hmm, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I think Billy Stark, she always has something new going on. I think Billy, because she has the Japanese like
Yes.
inspired hair
Yes.
going on that I really like. I think she probably has like the best style going on right now.
I happen to agree, and like she derives that, like you said, from the Japanese style of wrestling. It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not pop culture, but like there's a lot of different colors and like interesting. I know some of it's a little bit inspired by anime as well, so it's like taking in a bunch of different things. And she as well is kind of one who's very fun. You know, she wears the bunny head a lot. She's one who has
Mhm.
a really colorful and vibrant look, which is kind of similar to yours.
Mhm.
So I definitely love that too. And kind of not, it doesn't have to do with your wrestling look, but I know that you have a rose tattoo that you covered up some old ones. We'll talk about the old ones. But can you yes, that's the one. Can you tell me more about the significance? I know, like I said, you covered up stuff, but was there a significance behind the I think it's a rose for you.
Yeah, it's a rose.
Yeah.
So this was so maybe like 7 years. I was really young. I was probably like 19, 20. I got a skull tattooed on my finger, and it was not professionally done by any means,
Oh
and it looked like Pac-Man. I was just like, this is terrible. It was an ex-boyfriend's dad who did it, and
Mm.
it was horrible. And then one day I got bored and I decided I wanted to get a shooting star on my hand, and it was not good at all. And I was like, why am I doing this to myself right now? And then so I found like a really good tattoo artist. I was like, I really want to cover this up.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm obsessed with flowers. I love roses. I was like, can we try to work something in there to kind of like blend that in and cover it up? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so he did this, like,
Yeah.
I think he did a pretty good job. Eventually I'm actually gonna get it brought up into a full sleeve. So yeah, within like the next few months I really want to get that done. Just like roses and then maybe colored in. I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna
I'm
ask you
obsessed.
what
Yeah.
else. Yeah, what I was gonna ask, what else might you incorporate into that? Obviously, there's a bunch of different flowers and stuff you could do.
Yeah, I'll probably just continue the stems and roses and then maybe colored in like red and blue, something like that. So I'm obsessed with tattoos. I'm sure I'll probably by the time I'm like 50 be covered in tattoos.
You know, I I've been wanting I've had the tattoo idea in mind for like literally like 10 years and I've just been too afraid to do it. So, you go for it. But, you know, we were talking about growth, and a lot of that growth is learning from new experiences and opportunities. I know you had an opportunity at Impact Wrestling a little bit while back. So, can you tell us more about that experience and what you did there?
Yeah, I think this was probably like
It was November 21.
21, so I was
Yeah.
2 years in at this point.
Yeah.
I got called down. They wanted to see if I would be willing to be um a dead bridesmaid for Sue Young.
Yes.
And so I was like, yeah, I was like, I love Sue, and like of course it's an opportunity. So it was really fun. Like, I mean, I didn't get to wrestle or anything like that, but I got that opportunity to like show face and at least do a little something. So that was really cool. And that was my very first time meeting Sue. And then now I'm like, I love Sue. And like now me and her have been
Yeah,
in
you've worked
matches
together
together.
before, yeah.
We worked in a triple threat together, and I'm waiting to have a singles match with her, but it'll happen.
I feel like that's gotta be really cool to kind of channel like an inner bride. I don't know if are you one that's kind of into like horror, sci-fi-ish kind of
Oh my
genres?
god,
Yeah.
like I am a huge horror fanatic. Huge horror fanatic. Yes.
Yeah, so that had to have been really cool. You can kind of
Yes.
like let loose and play an entirely new kind of character had to have been really cool. But like you said, you didn't get to kind of wrestle, but you were kind of shown on screen and you were backstage where there were a lot of producers and veterans like Sue Young. So I'm curious, were you able to maybe pick anyone's brain for advice or anything backstage?
Um, I don't think I really got to really pick anybody's brains really at that time. I think I was probably scared to like really ask. But yeah, I mean like I had a great time doing it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like, and like you said, you got to wrestle Sue a couple times after that. I remember seeing a couple things on your Instagram. I was like, oh, she wrestled Sue Young. That's a cool opportunity. And you know, kind of talking about matches, we do a watch list feature here on WrestleZone. So, kind of in your 4-year career thus far, has there been a particular match of yours that you feel the most proud of, and why?
It's actually my very last match that I had a little over a month ago against Gary J.
Can you tell us more about that and why you feel
Um,
really
so
confident in that performance?
so Gary has actually helped me a lot throughout like the like how like because he knows that I struggle with
Yeah.
things, and like Um, and he's like had this talk with me like so many times. And like I look up to Gary as like one of my mentors. So I wanted this match more than anything, honestly. And so um we just I don't know. I mean like I feel like there it wasn't a crazy match, but I feel like he just like brought something. I don't know, but like it was by far my favorite match I've had in like the last 4 years.
That's a
And
good
then
thing too, that it's
yeah,
fresh. Yeah.
yeah.
Gives you motivation going forward and kind of talking about going forward. We don't know, at least as of now, it hasn't been posted on any socials. You have a match coming up this, upcoming on May 27th at an all-women show entitled Revolution Rising to Queens of the Midwest in
Mhm.
collaboration with the NWF and PGWA. Obviously, you are a notable figure within the Midwest scene, but other than maybe yourself, who do you think would be fit to have the title of the Queen of the Midwest?
Of the Midwest, like that specific title and or like
Yeah, so
or
within
just like
the Midwest wrestling scene, is there a
or like
performer you feel like
hmm,
encompasses that's like the Midwest, they kind of own the Midwest territory that stands out to you within there?
hmm. I feel like I would be like maybe it's because she's my favorite wrestler in the world, but Kylie Ray.
Chicago, I mean,
Yeah.
right there. Tell us, I personally love Kylie. I'm curious too. I was going to ask you because this is an all women show and kind of in that spirit. You've gotten to work with a plethora of people at Impact. You've been at OVW. You've been all around the Midwest. Kylie is probably one for you. But can you tell us more about some of the people that you look up to or maybe have been mentors to you within the wrestling space?
Um, I think Billy Starks is one of them. She's helped me tremendously
Yeah.
in the ring for these past 4 years. So she's definitely like probably my favorite. Hmm. I also I think it's because me and this I think it's because we like kind of click really well together in the ring, but Blair Onyx.
Yes.
I really enjoy working her. I think she's gonna go really far. And we just like seem to like click really well in the ring and have fun every time we wrestle. um I do look up to Sue Young a lot. She's helped me, like we've sat down and like talked about like things and stuff like that. And she's reached out to me when I was like kind of struggling with my mental health and stuff like that. And so I look up to her. Like I think she's an amazing person.
She seems like it
So
too, and hopefully you guys get to have that one-on-one finally soon.
yeah, I hope so.
And to close things out, we're kind of looking towards the future. You have obviously a shoot job, as they call you, got life, you got wrestling. What are some of your personal and professional goals that you'd like to accomplish within the next year?
Professional, I actually I'm wanting to get into acting classes and start, yeah, seeing where like acting might take me because it's something that I've always also wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I'll give that a try. Um, Personally, I think that I want to my mom's watching me. I think that I want to I don't know honestly, like it's hard to like say. I think um I really don't know. Like I'm still trying to figure out like my personal life on what
Yeah.
I want to do,
Yeah.
I guess, like outside of wrestling.
Yeah,
So,
so maybe then what are you kind of hoping to get out of your acting classes then?
um I don't know. I mean, like maybe like little gigs on TV shows to like start out, maybe commercial work, something like that. You never know.
We talked about kind of horror and sci-fi. What are your favorite just right now and kind of all time? I'm curious to know what are your favorite television shows?
Television shows or movies?
We say both.
My favorite of all time, Scream. I love Ghostface. I think the last one was amazing. TV show wise, so I'm obsessed with the show. It's called Chicago Fire. And they
Okay.
actually
Okay, hold on. That's so funny that you mentioned that. I swear to you, it's Chicago Med I've been binge watching, but it crosses
Yes,
over. I was literally before this interview today, I kid you not, I was watching Chicago Med, Kayla.
it's so good. Like I think I have some catching up on Chicago Med to do because I
Yeah,
finished everything that I needed to finish,
yeah.
and because then I jumped over. I like started there because there's Chicago Med, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire.
Yes.
I started backwards. I started Chicago Med, Chicago PD, and then Chicago Fire. But I think Chicago PD is my favorite. I feel like there's a lot more action in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
But
seen because I think it was them who crossed over with Law and Order SVU. So I've seen a couple, I think they've done two crossovers before, but I kid you not, I started binge watching Chicago Med over the weekend because I ended up on that set of TikTok somehow, and I've been watching a bunch of clips of Chicago Fire on TikTok, but once I get through Med, I'm planning to go through PD and Fire. But that's just so funny. Like I kid you not, I was
yeah,
watching an episode right
it,
before this of
it's so
Chicago
good.
Med.
They're so good.
I
You'll
know.
have to let me know which series you like better.
Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot to go through. I already finished one season in like
Mhm.
two days, I want to say, of Chicago Med.
Yeah,
So it's been a lot of fun. It seems like I kind of like those like actiony, like I don't
yeah.
know, kind of crime, but you know, I like those kind of shows,
It has a lot of
dramas.
drama in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like it too that they intertwine the characters in there too. So I'm excited to check it out. That's cool that we kind of unlocked that shared kind of love for that, and I'll keep you updated on that. I'm excited for that. But Kayla, thank you so much for chatting with me today. It's been a pleasure. Before we let you go, can you please share where the people can find you online?
Yes. So, I have my Facebook is under my real name. I don't really do a whole lot of wrestling content on my Facebook, but my Instagram is Kayla_Kassidy_, and my Twitter is Kayla_Kassidy.
Yes, that's correct.
And then I have TikTok. I haven't really made any TikTok videos recently, but I do have TikTok. I'm on there all the time. It is, shoot, what's my name on there? Hey Cassidy. I think that's my name on there.
Now so I'm on like 10 different sides of TikTok. What sides of TikTok are you on right now?
So I'm on the whole I scroll through like a lot of puppy videos.
I'm on Cat Talk, so fair.
Yes, yeah, like puppies. I watch a lot of puppy ones. I watch a lot of like the silly dances that they do and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and like the pranks that they pull on each other. I love watching those. Like the couples on TikTok that pull pranks on each other.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing ever. It's entertaining to me.
There's a one okay, whatever, this is a weird one, but there's this like trend of a prank of women like convincing their husbands that they're shedding their skin. I don't know if you've seen that one, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they
I know what you're
believe
talking
it.
about.
They believe
I
it.
know
It's
what you're
time for
talking
my
about.
monthly shedding, and their
I know what
husbands
you're
are like,
talking about.
"What?"
I know what you're talking about. It's so messed up.
I don't know how they do it. It has to be like some prosthetic or something. They make it look
Yeah.
real, but it's just hilarious.
Hmm.
So if anybody's hearing about this for the first time, it's really funny. I don't know what I think you would just search probably skin shedding or something. There's a
It's
lot of
so
like
funny.
wives or girlfriends pranking their boyfriends and husbands. It's hilarious, actually.
It's so funny.
But Kayla, it's been a pleasure catching up with you. Of course, we wish you luck and good luck too at Revolution Rising. We look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Thank you.